What's up, people? Welcome to the GSC podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lauchi. Joined this week, as always, by Johnny.
Hey.
Jenny.
Hey.
And Jamie C.
Why, hello.
How are you guys?
Brilliant.
I'm
Feeling
fine.
good? I just want to address something quick before we get started. Last week, I talked a lot of good shit about all the places you could get the podcast. It's going to be on SoundCloud. It's going to be on Libsyn. It's only on Podbean. All right? It's only on Podbean. If you go to SoundCloud, you will not find the GSC podcast. Head over to Podbean, though, and we are there. So
it's a better one anyway.
Yeah, that's the excuse. Anyway, let's start, as we always do, with what we've been playing / doing this week. Johnny, talk to me.
Hey, my friend. I've been playing. I played the Pokemon demo.
The Pokemon demo? Wait, which Pokemon?
It's a special demo. Amazon sent me like a code because I pre-ordered Pokemon X through there.
Okay.
So they sent me the special code to play the demo. It's fairly short. Shut up, Johnny. And it's quite restrictive in where you can go. Like you're basically in this one little town, and you can't actually move anywhere. Like you're stuck there, and you get sort of whisked away into like this one patch of grass, and then you like fight one Pokemon. Then you go through the store.
To finish in it 10 times or something?
Yeah, it does. So you fight a couple of trainers, and that's about it. And then you go to this one patch of grass and capture either a cow. What's it called? A shiny Gaily or something? I can't remember what it was called. But I got that. And so I can transfer that to my proper game if I buy it, which I might. And yeah, if you replay it, like do some extra missions or redo the demo, you can get like extra things like more Pokeballs, some heal balls, some shards, some shit.
Okay.
But yeah,
how different is it?
It's just like Pokemon X, but obviously of the world of Ruby and Sapphire. So if you like X and you just want more of that, it just seems kind of the same. They didn't show you off the new features. I know there's like this area nav and stuff you can use, but they didn't show that off. And the soar ability, have you guys seen that? So like you sort of like fly into the sky.
Yeah, that's a new HM type move, yeah.
Yeah, it's called soar. Yeah. And that looks interesting, and you can find like these sort of distortion clouds and fly into it and capture old legendaries like Ho-Oh and Lugia and the ones from Black and White.
That's pretty awesome, man. Ho-Oh, clearly the best legendary ever, man.
Yeah, I'm a Ho-Oh fan.
I'm a Ho fan.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is literally all I've been playing.
Okay, cool, man. Jenny, what have you been up to, bro?
Not a great deal. I've been sessioning a lot on Netflix, but I'm currently playing Child of Light.
That would explain the massive amount of Archer references before we started recording, yeah?
Yeah, so Archer mainly. Recently started watching Homeland. Don't know if anyone's watched that.
No, I hear really good things about Homeland, but I've never sat down to watch an episode of it.
You should, because I sat down yesterday or the day before, and I've basically finished the first season in 2 days, in 2 sittings. So that's 12 episodes. That's really about it. Because EA still haven't sorted out FIFA, so I can't play that. And Drive Club's got a bit stupid now. I mean, that still doesn't work. But yeah. No, so Child of Light. Why haven't I played this game sooner? I bought it ages ago and I forgot about it because of the way the dashboard's laid out.
Yeah.
So it was all the way like hidden on the right-hand side of my screen.
You don't have to worry about that soon. Sony have been very clear that they're sorting that shit in the next update.
Good.
Are they?
So yeah, that's it really. I haven't actually done anything else.
Good times.
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
All right, cool. Jamie, talk to me.
Just say, I'm glad you're enjoying Child of Light, though.
It's amazing.
I really, really do have time for that game. Still up there in my top list for the year so far, I think.
Does all the dialogue in that game rhyme? Because your two rhyming tweets earlier were awesome.
It's good, isn't it?
It's all rhyming.
I was proud of that. I'm glad it didn't go unnoticed.
Professor Green wrote the script for the game. What happened? No, if he'd written he wouldn't have been anywhere good with it. No. Anyway, what have I been doing? There are 7 days in a week, and in the last week I managed to get 1 day. There are 7 days.
Fuck me.
If I learn anything from Craig David, it's about all the days of the week. But
You taught us well.
definitely had to have Sunday as my day of rest, and I did that, and all I did was just session and finish Walking Dead Season 2 in one go.
Nice.
Didn't come up for air. I loved it, but I still think The Wolf Among Us is far superior.
I agree completely.
I think they've taken a lot of feedback on board because they've got rid of fetch missions.
Mm-hmm.
That was boring as fuck. You'd have to too much time spent. Go here, go do that, then come back with it. You're playing Walking Dead because you just want to see the story progress and have influence on it. It's one of those old read books, isn't it? Go to page 39 if you want to do this, or go to page 12 to see what's in your mum's knickers. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like,
Fucking hell.
that's what you want Walking Dead for. You don't want to be like, I'm going to go get this plank of wood and we'll see if that will do the trick. You don't want that.
Oh.
So I'm glad that
There's
they
some
kind of
things. There's some
carve
things
that
I
out.
really want to talk to you about Season 2, but I don't want to give any spoilers because I know it's coming out for PlayStation 4 and stuff soon. So there's going to be people going in fresh, and I don't want to spoil that. But after we record, there's a few things about the ending of Season 2 that I really want to ask, man.
You might have to be careful around Janny with that one then. 'cause
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
finished it, yeah. But no, I've always said that I'll never play these episodic games until it's all out. And I'm glad I did it because it just made for a great day. I'd spent the whole day doing it, and yeah, I mean, my story definitely has come along a long ways, but again, without it being spoilers, it's hard to talk about, I guess.
It's true, but can you not see each time you finish an episode, can you not see like the cliffhanger it finishes on and then thinking like, oh shit, I want to know what happens next time, and then start like thinking in your head what's going to happen? Because that's half the fun, man, of like, you finish the episode, you know it's not out till like another month's time, so you start like talking stuff out and coming up with what you think is going to happen in the interim. That's why I love the episodic style so much, man.
I'm into your rim, but if I guess if maybe I was playing alongside somebody else, maybe,
Yeah,
but you can only talk about it for about half an hour afterwards.
true, but
These
then
chapters
that
are only
half
an hour and a
is
half
great,
long.
man. They are.
You
They
know,
are
90
pretty
minutes of gameplay isn't going to generate that much talking points.
I
That
don't
many
know,
talking
man.
points.
Speculation. You don't know the degrees to which I can nerd out, mate.
Oh,
Yeah, we
God,
do.
yeah. I'm still a massive fan of the bit of every end of chapter where it comes up with the statistics and
Yeah.
comparing you to the world and realizing that I'm not the only sick cunt out there. And there's quite a lot of people
I
who
actually,
would.
I really enjoy that as well, man. When I look at the ending results and then I see that I'm in the minority, like 80% of people did something else, I'm like, yeah, that's right. You guys doing it wrong.
But, I mean, sometimes you make a judgment call and then you realize afterwards that made you quite heartless, or there's something, and it worries you. But then you see the statistics and you might be in the majority, and you're like, yeah, okay, good, yeah.
Yeah, but
People
surely with
think
something
the
like
way
that,
I think.
it makes you think about. I suppose it would make you reflect on how you came to that decision, and then I suppose you'd probably start thinking, well, would you change that? It's a bit difficult because I haven't played it, so. But it's
Well,
like
it is hard because you have to put yourself in the body of an 11-year-old girl, Janny. I don't know if you're used to that. Or...
I think we should move on.
I'm just being a bastard. Sorry. I'm horrible this week.
Something in the water.
Something in my belly. I'm tired and full of pizza, but I'm no. I think because I'm trying to now just save myself ready for Bayonetta this coming weekend, and the weekend after that I've got Sunset Overdrive, so I've got a busy couple of weeks coming up. So I wanted to get that one out of the way, something I knew I could do. I might just mop up a few half-assed games in the coming days, then maybe contrast, because I
You know
didn't
what?
really enjoy it. But
I really hope Sunset Overdrive is good, because its advertising campaign at the moment, if it ends up being shit, it's just going to be like a laughing stock looking back at it.
well, I definitely need something on the Xbox One to be proud of owning. I've not had any. I mean, Dead Rising 3, don't get me wrong, was fantastic, but I was thinking to myself the other day, I missed that feeling of like when I was at school, and I know that the latest release was going to be sat at home waiting for me, and like I just desperately went home and got into it and just lost my whole weekend in it. Like I haven't had that for a long time with a game, a long time. Even games that I've been excited for pre-release, it all just falls to the side now when it comes to the game actually being out. So I need a game, and I just feel something like Sunset Overdrive might be that. We'll
Maybe,
see.
man. I mean, all the stuff we've seen so far looks good. So
Yeah, definitely.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool. It's good.
Oh, that means I've got to talk about stuff, man.
Oh,
Let me,
yeah,
let
then,
me guess.
go on.
Let me guess. You haven't
What are
really
we doing
played
at the
much this week.
weekend?
Right, no, because so the last time we recorded, I had my copy of Evil Within in my hands, right? And I've played a grand total of half an hour of that game since the last
Shocking.
podcast we recorded. But I was super busy, right? I was at a Warhammer
Good.
tournament. I was at a
Fucking
Warhammer
hell.
40,000 tournament over the
Okay,
weekend.
firstly, what did you think of the half an hour you played, though?
Of Evil Within, it was
Yeah.
pretty good, man. It's fucking gross.
Yeah.
Like really, really gory and disturbing imagery and stuff. But it seems pretty cool. There was a really, really nice Resident Evil 1 throwback, like right as you start the second chapter or the first chapter, if the bit that I played was the prologue. I'm not sure. But yeah, you know when you meet the first zombie in Resident Evil 1,
Yeah.
where it's sort of crouched over eating a dude.
Yep.
And then it drops the head, and the head rolls to the side, and it just turns and looks up at you. The exact same thing happens scene for scene in Evil Within, and like obviously it made me smile. I appreciated the throwback, but it was kind of different after that because that guy just ran at me super fast, man.
Yeah.
The game's hard as nails as well. You can't take a lot of hits. I'm playing on survival mode because the other mode was called casual, and I think they did that just to scare people away from it. Like, don't play on that. But
Called dirty casual.
yeah, probably. I don't know. It looks good, but it doesn't look great.
Yeah. I thought.
Yeah, some things look really cool. Like you even mentioned this, right? And you could tell this just from footage, but the lighting is pretty damn good.
Mm.
Like some of the lighting effects that they have are awesome, but the actual like texture work and character models and stuff aren't the best.
Yeah.
But that could change. I mean, like I said, I've only played the first half an hour. When I saved and logged out, I literally just woke up in this like asylum building, went and sat on a chair, which turned into like an electric chair with electrodes going into my brain. Which turns out that's the way you level up your character. That's how you unlock upgrades and stuff. And I saved on their little register there, and that's as far as I got, man. But it's pretty decent so far, man.
Never
let us know
to
how
be
you
played
go.
again.
Yeah.
No,
Rolling
I'm
Empire.
definitely gonna finish it.
Cool.
And we'll get to that eventually, I guess.
Mhm.
Cool. But that's pretty much all I did. So let's move on to talking about violence in video games.
Okay.
This was obviously brought on by the release of the Hatred trailer, which has blown up on the internet and caused a lot of controversy from people saying that, you know, it's inappropriate, it shouldn't exist, stuff like that. And then there's also people defending its right to exist. And I just want to take in where you guys fall on this. Because, like, you wouldn't be the first people that I've spoken to about this. I managed to speak to some other people over the weekend about this trailer and get their thoughts and opinions on it. So, basically, Jamie, you can go first. Tell me what you think, man.
I'm honestly shocked that the internet is blown up the way it is. I think people take things too seriously, and the biggest problem that we have is that gaming will get blamed for things, or movies will get blamed for things, and we never stop and remember that it's the person responsible. They're going to be that person, whatever they play or whatever they watch, whatever they do, whatever they listen to. They're still that person. They were still going to, reenact something or kill somebody or do something, regardless of if they're playing this or Hello Kitty Adventure Island. It doesn't matter what they're playing. They are still that person capable of doing that thing. So the problem that we have with this game is that people see the trailer and they see something that is, in a sense, reenacting what could be real life events or like portraying real life event. Well, let's make that protagonist, or like whatever you want to call him, antagonist then in this case, the lead character then, and let's make him blue. And then everyone that he's shooting's got antennas. So what's the difference now? You take away that small factor that you believe, because it portrays real life, that it's dangerous and it shouldn't exist because it's grotesque in that sense. But I'm just saying, paint in blue, and people will fucking sell that as a sci-fi shooter, and it would be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is exactly what went through my head when you texted me about it earlier. It's, where do you, if you start saying, well, that's acceptable and this isn't. I mean, I'm talking about, it's nothing that hasn't already been done in video games before, right? So it's nothing new. It's just it all seems to be packaged into one. And I don't get where you start drawing the lines. It's not like, I don't know. Yeah, it's not like they're playing on something that, say, on a racial level for sake of argument. It's not. There's no sort of motive like that. It's just there's a body of flesh. I'm just gonna destroy it in the most elaborate way possible. But then I don't know. On the other end of the scale, people seem quite happy to buy their kids COD and all that on a constant basis, and not even bat an eyelid, or Halo. So I don't know. Is it just? Yeah, it's a very strange one. I don't get why we keep having these conversations, because if people had a way, GTA would never exist, because it was the same old argument they had back then.
The difference is though, and I've seen the Grand Theft Auto comparison coming up quite a lot, in that people saying, "Oh, well, you can just go on a killing spree in Grand Theft Auto," but one, it's not the aim of the game in Grand Theft Auto. And two, Grand Theft Auto penalizes you for doing that by taking your wanted level up and having increasingly more powerful enemies show up to stop you from doing it. Whereas it is literally the aim of this game to go out and kill innocent people, as many innocent people as you can.
Well, what about Gears of War then?
They're aliens.
Doesn't matter.
Plus, it's the situation of Gears of War is that, like, you're in a war, so as soon as you set something in a war, like, those realities, like, play out, like people killing people, that happens in war, man. But this is more like literally a mass murder game. Like,
yeah, but then, like, a war breeds from somebody making actions that are against what somebody else believes in. So then, in a sense, this mass killer is just acting out something because he's going against something else that others believe in, and essentially it's on the same grounds then.
So what's more, as far as I'm concerned, what's more likely going to happen? Someone's going to go into a store, buy an AK-47 and go on a killing rampage, or they're more likely to enlist in the army and then do the same there, but it's seen as legal because of whatever the government's saying, without trying to sound too earthy. I'm sorry, you cannot start putting lines like this through. As far as I'm concerned, if you're gonna, it's like comedy. You can't draw a line about what's acceptable. I mean, I'm not talking about absolute extreme. Nothing I saw there was extreme.
What? Really?
Yeah, it all seemed pretty
we've all seen
extreme
it
to
before.
me, definitely.
I thought it was quite tame.
The problem is that it's pandering to basically, the American high school shootings, sort of that sort of way. It's just who it's sort of being marketed at, and it's sort of it's all based in real life. It's all this is a lot different from the Call of Duty. Like, remember Modern Warfare 4, which one it was, where you're in the airport and everyone went crazy about that because you're killing civilians. This game is entirely that level. That's why they're getting so upset.
There was a massive controversy over that Call of Duty thing as well. Even though you weren't required to fire a single shot to get through that level, you could just walk through that level and not shoot anyone. Whereas this game, like, is literally the aim of the game to kill those people, or to kill innocent civilians and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just all the context that it's in. It's definitely different. We haven't really had this before.
So why do they put ratings on games then?
Yeah, and I can understand that. Obviously, this is going to be a 18 rated game, and they should have the freedom to really do whatever they want.
Well, but this is my point, right? And this is what's the beauty about what we're in at the moment. You have a freedom of choice. You don't have to buy the game. It's not now. There would probably be an uproar if, say, it was PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live's new content for next month for free, and it was readily available to everyone, ignoring the fact it's only on PC at the moment. Yeah, there was a very similar uproar with Manhunt, and that still came out, and then it all died down. It didn't keep going on. Yeah. I don't think there's an issue here. If you ask
It's
me.
just there was a 15-year-old boy in France who went to watch Scream at the cinema, and then he came home and he killed his parents. There was a man in America who was responsible for loads of sniper killings, and they said that he'd been watching the Matrix films. Like, is this fair?
Yeah, but it's not just that I'm leveling this at it because it's a video game, right? If there was a movie that came out where the guy was just like, I hate everything, so I'm gonna go and kill as many people as I can until I die, like, I would probably still feel the same way, that the movie was kind of inappropriate, man.
But does that mean it doesn't have the right to exist then, or?
Probably not, and this is the biggest problem, man, because like, artistic license, it has to be given, right? Like, if somebody feels that this should exist, then, like, to them it should exist, you know? Which, like, in that regard, I wouldn't argue it's right to exist. I just feel that maybe it's kind of in bad taste. And
What I reckon is, like, the actual game itself looks pretty mediocre. I think the reason they're doing this is just to spark this sort of reaction and get this publicity. The game itself looks mediocre at best. Like,
So the worst thing they could do is actually.
I think this is all just to get a reaction. Like, oh, this will definitely sell if we just do this because it's so, provocative and.
Yeah,
But then all these publications that are actually writing about it now, then they're just getting sucked into that problem. It's
all
their own
fueling
fault
it.
then. Yeah.
It's just a twin-stick shooter, as I can tell.
Like
Dead Nation
It's
sort of
Dead
thing.
Nation. So I don't understand
It's nothing
why
new, it's
when
just-
you replace a zombie with a human being, it's still a video. It's still a bunch of pixels on the screen.
yeah, but it's all about context, man.
Is it though?
Yeah, it is.
you're given,
course
you're
it
given an
totally
objective,
is, man.
and you're given a goal, and you're given a video game.
Yeah, but then, like, we imagine the objective was to, like, rape little girls, and
Yeah.
you're General Custer, and you got to go and violently rape little girls. It's still a game. That's your objective, but
Yeah.
then that's clearly not fucking good, man. Like, just because this is violence and, like,
You can't.
not
Hang on,
that,
no, you cannot. I'm
Of
not going
course
to
you can.
entertain. I'm not
It's too-
entertaining
it's
that conversation.
It's two
because that is-
extremes, man. One
No.
one is more socially acceptable than the other, but neither should be socially acceptable, man.
You cannot.
I'm with Ben on this.
No. Look, if you, there isn't anything in particular. I mean, it's not like he's gone into. Well, from what I saw, anyway, I didn't really see. Was it kids? No, I thought it
I'm
was all.
fairly sure there is. I'm fairly sure that there was some. If you search it up, I mean, I should have searched this up and linked it to you guys beforehand. But from what I heard when I was speaking to the guys at the tournament the other day, there's like a scene with like where he's got like his gun in a teacher's mouth in front of the school kids, and he just like blows her away and then turns his gun on them. So,
Which is in poor taste. It really
I'm gonna
is.
go ahead and preface this now. That guy could have been bullshitting me, and if that scene doesn't exist, then maybe I take back some of this, because that was the main line that got me, man.
But look, what it all boils down to, it's again, you have shitty films with unnecessary violence and gore, right?
Yeah.
And they don't get half as much as attention as video games. Video games are an easy target, and what it comes down to is because let's put it this way. There are a lot of shitty parents out there who cannot control what their kids are subjected to on their video games, right? Now, I don't understand how there's this disparity between a video game and a film. Okay, so you cannot tell me that you can discredit one and the other. It may be shit. The storyline may be well, it sounds pretty bad anyway, and it looks pretty bad. It's a poor video game, right? So it's gonna have things that maybe are a bit tasteless and maybe a bit senseless. But fucking hell, come on! It's a game. It's that's all it is. It's a piece of software.
Yeah, but
right?
this that's also the problem, right? And that's
Right,
also
right,
one
can
of
I
the
just
big.
say, would you have ever bought it?
No, I definitely won't buy it.
Right. Also, have you ever played any FPS game or any shooting game or even a Mario and think, I want to go and stomp on a turtle next time I see one? Or I'm going to enlist in the army, or I'm going to go shoot somebody, or I don't know.
It's only a fair question.
No, I haven't I haven't
Right.
thought about doing that at all. But
Do you know that there's studies that have actually proven that people are not there is no link between violence in video games and films and actual violent people.
well, yeah, because I mean, personally, I would imagine it will probably be the opposite, right? That getting your anger and stuff like this out through a medium like video games would be more cathartic and maybe quell those urges in people that would actually go and do that if they could vent it that way.
No,
But-
because the idea is a rational human being, right, which is 99.9% of the population are just that, rational. They understand the difference between right and wrong. They understand that what they're experiencing here is just an experience. It's not real, right?
Yeah.
And they
think
would
what-
not copy and paste that in real life. Like, I don't get pissed off being stuck behind a car, so I get out, smack the guy over the head with a baseball bat, nick his car, and drive to work on the other side of the road, picking up points as I go along. Right?
But this is the thing. I think we're on different pages here, man, because you're thinking what's the real world application of this, you know? Like, you're thinking, is somebody going to play this game and then like go and fucking commit a killing spree or whatever? Whereas I'm looking at it through more of a moral lens, man, as to like should this game even exist in the first place with the subject matter that, you know, it contains, right? Because I mean, video games is still a very new medium, right? And the difference, there's a very real difference between video games and films. A lot of people in the games industry like to use the whole like, well, you know, films don't get judged for doing stuff like this. But at the same time, films are very sort of detached. You watch a film, right? You watch it, you have no input in it. It's not like you can change the outcome of a film or do anything to a film because it's been made and the thing that's made is what you watch. Whereas a video game, you're very proactive with it. You're the one who's making everything happen. So
Only if it's written correctly. If it's written right, like Walking Dead, we were just talking about Walking Dead, right?
yeah,
You have opportunities where you can go one way or the other, right? With different consequences, right? And yeah, the immediate impact is oh shit. Or all right, you've all watched films or series where something's happened, like really serious has happened on screen, and you're like actually affected by it, and you have to take a step back. Oh wow, that actually just happened. But then it goes. And even though something maybe actually, the point I was going to make was going back to the reason why. I mean, you've spoken a lot about context. The only reason that anybody there is ever an uproar about violence in either film or video games is because there's always this concern that violence breeds violence, and then that's replicated in real life, right? That's what's got my backup. Whether something's morally wrong or not, to me, in a game doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, what a game is somebody's idea that they've programmed into life, right? Whether or not that's right or wrong, whether or not the message that they're trying to portray is right or wrong isn't the case. For me, with the whole uproar is how it affects outside the home, or how it affects the person who's subjected to it. Or maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but that's where I perceive these uproars, and that's why I always think, quite frankly, they're ridiculous. You know,
yeah.
you get everything. You know, you cannot. I don't know. It's all a bit strange to me. I don't see what the problem is.
I just think there's a very real difference between playing a game like Gears of War, which is also really gory and really violent, but is set in a sort of post-apocalyptic war zone where
It's
like
attached a bit, isn't it?
yeah, right, to playing as like literally some psycho who lives down the street who's decided that everyone has to die before he does, like, and then literally just leaving the house, going to a shopping mall and shooting the place up. Which
It's like having like a 9/11 game, isn't it? It's like you wouldn't that'd be really, you know, senseless and insensitive.
I mean,
Have a
like,
game.
yeah, exactly. The thing is, right, things like this have actually happened. Like, there's like real world cases where people have just gone on shooting sprees. I don't remember the last time like I ever like had to fight off an alien invasion with a laser gun. Like, it, you know, it's really hard to like vocalize the way I feel about it, man. Ultimately, it like they have artistic license to make whatever they want, right? But whether they should make that is the question.
Okay, let me put it like this then. If the storyline was different, and the storyline was the reasons how he's got to this stage, so it's really in depth, it's really well told, and everything, all that bit gets you really involved with and really start connecting with that character on screen, and then they go on this killing spree, right? Then I can kind of understand, because what it is it's manipulating your brain in a sense to get onto the same level and almost start justifying his actions. But I didn't get that from the trailer at all. The trailer's like, I'm
It's still
fed
trying
up,
to
I want
normalize
retribution,
it, trying to
blah,
like, oh,
blah.
look, this has sort of led to that.
I mean,
If they were zombies, we wouldn't be having this discussion. This
So
game
what-
would just be like, not looked at all and just swept under.
I don't agree that you can say something that violent. That you cannot say, oh, because it's against other human beings, it's not fine, but because it's against something else.
no, it's not
totally
even
fine.
it's not even just that it's against other human beings, because if he was like a gang member and you were like mowing down an enemy gang or something, it would be completely different. It's because they've like gone outright and said like your goal is to kill innocent civilians, like using the word innocent as well in there, like.
It changes just the context completely.
Yeah, it really does. It changes.
I
It
don't
changes
get
it from like a shooting game that has violence in it into a murder game that has violence in it. Like the game is about committing murder, not about killing.
I'm sure there are other games out there that have murders in them that you have to commit.
True,
I'm pretty
I think
certain there is. I can't think off the top of my head because it's not a genre that I get involved with.
it's
too
probably
Even
far-
Manhunt. Wasn't that
Carry on,
was that other against like criminals you were like, murdering? Manhunt, because that was banned, obviously.
But you can
here.
justify it as much as you want. But again, if you want to go down that route, then who exactly is right to say so and so's a terrorist and that guy's not? You cannot make, to me, you cannot turn around and go. You can have a scenes where you're torturing this guy to get information because he's perceived as a terrorist, because you're told that. You don't know. I mean, it could be false information in the game as far as you're aware at that point.
Yeah, and that would be clever and
It's-
acceptable. But this is
But-
like go out and kill innocent people.
But if they're innocent,
So
you've still done the same thing.
Janice dropping the old saying, "One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter." Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
But for me, like I'm just like I am still there with Janny. I think it should exist. I think it's fine. For me, would I play it? Well, potentially. If I was told it had great gameplay, then yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to, and it might not be a subject matter that I normally am engaged in. But I don't play a game because of a genre. I play a game because the gameplay mechanics are great, or I play a game because the story's great. You're not going to get a story in this, but if there was great gameplay, would I give it a go? I'd probably want to, I want to see if the gameplay's great if I've been told it is. It doesn't matter about the subject matter in that sense then. I would want to play it to see how it actually played then. And like I said, it's either that or story. It's not going to have the story, but it could have great gameplay. It probably
Just
won't.
saying,
Didn't this
like
happen
I
at
said,
Carmageddon? When it originally, or
Oh,
before it came out?
Carmageddon, yeah.
Yeah, Carmageddon, I'm pretty certain, or one of those games, like around that sort of era, was going to be just normal people. There was a big uproar of it, so they made it zombies. And then suddenly it was fine. That you could just mow down people. It's a computer game, right?
Yeah, it's a
That's
really
all it
hard
is.
one. It's a really hard one for me to discuss because I'm all for like artistic freedom and like stuff like that, but I feel like there has to be a line. Like a line has to be drawn somewhere. It's different. It's completely different when you're talking about like comedy and humor and stuff like that. Like in that regard, everything should be fair game when it falls under sort of parody and stuff like that. But things like this, man, I don't know. And I know it's hypocritical.
don't
It's
have to
really
play
it's really hypocritical of me to like argue it, but I just know that that's the feeling that I got, the gut feeling when I first saw that trailer. Like my reaction was like, this is fucking disgusting. Like, why would you even
know
think
what?
to make...
I would like to think that a majority out there lost the right to have an opinion on this when they thought it was okay for 14-year-olds to play Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty, because they are aimed at these 18-year-olds. They are aimed 18 plus because that's when you reach your maturity and that's when your brain is functioning at a full adult level. As long as you're a sane human adult at that level, it wouldn't present an issue. But if I've been witness to loads of 14-year-olds playing Call of Duty, and for me, there is no difference in those two games. So if one's acceptable and the other one isn't, then I don't know where we stand anymore.
Well, I mean, in that comparison, I would argue that Call of Duty is a team-based war simulator where you play as soldiers fighting other soldiers, right? In like objective-based games, like capture the flag and like hold the position and stuff. Like, if you swapped out the guns to Nerf guns, the game would still play exactly the same.
But what they're doing is, in using a video game, they're simulating a real life event that is terrifying, and causes millions of death thousands of death every year, and so on. And it's in that sense, it's just the same thing.
And I think, I don't know, maybe from my point of view, coming from the UK, this sort of thing doesn't happen over here as well. And to me, it doesn't. I think it's a difficult one, because where you've got somewhere like the US, which has a gun law, which you can actually own one, and you have all these, and you have, like you touched on it, Ben, about the schools and all that. If over in the UK, I don't know if there's going to be that much of an uproar as there would be in, say, the US. So I understand those sensitivities, but the bottom line is, you don't have to buy it, right? You don't have to play it. We don't even have to talk about it. And to be frank, that would have gone straight over my head if we hadn't brought it up for this one, right? Because and everything else aside, if you look at the game, it's a it looks shit. There's nothing remarkable about it. So it's not as if it's going to get critical acclaim, say, this game's incredible, and you got reviewers actively encouraging people to go and play it, right? If anything, it's like, I can't actually believe I'm going to compare a game to, say, something like clickbait, but that's pretty much what I have a feeling that the developers have done here. If they've almost gone, well, fuck it, there's a gap in the market, let's just do it. You know, there'll be a reaction, people will talk about us.
And when you've got a game that isn't going to be that great, from what we can see, you would go for shock tactics and you would go for these things to sell your product. Like, you do want to kind of still come away with some respect to yourself, but at the same time, these people want to make money. At the end of the day, if their game's not very good, they'll do whatever they can to make the money from it, and that is to go with the shock tactics of it.
And going back to GTA, I don't agree that it's not the same premise, because I remember playing the first one and finding my first kill frenzy token, and you just go absolutely mental, right? It's just senseless violence.
Yeah, but again,
they're innocent people.
Yeah, but you need to remember that the game is actively penalising you for doing it, man. You've got
a kill frenzy. You got a free
not with
ticket.
a kill frenzy, no.
Yeah,
and that's still in the latest version of GTA as well.
And don't forget, you could run down a line of Elvis Presley's or Harry Krishna because they were in a line. There was no other reason. It's senseless.
But look at Little Monkey.
Yeah, it's a video game. That's all it is. And as soon as you start trying to make well, I think that's just what I'll probably end up contradicting myself anyway throughout this whole thing. Once you start trying to get make sense from a video game into real life, that's when the problems start coming. If they I don't know, market it as a real life shooter simulator, then fine, uproar, yeah, because it's simulating something that's very real. But they're still video games at the end of the day. There's nothing. The only way a video game has ever hurt somebody is by a disc being thrown across the room or a cartridge. That's
Gianni
Springer's final thought. That
I don't know, man. The reason I wanted to bring it up and I wanted to talk about it because mainly because of the reaction that the trailer elicited from me, man. And I thought it was interesting because a lot of my favorite game series have a lot of violence in them. Like, like Evil Within, I was literally just talking about saying that I was enjoying it and stuff, even though it was gross and super gory and there was a lot of like dismemberment and shit going on. But even seeing that, like, it didn't have the same effect as this trailer, like where I just thought, it just looks wrong, and I don't think we're gonna find. We're not gonna find out why in this conversation, man, because I don't know, because I can't vocalize it. So I apologize for not being able to fully vocalize what I actually thought of it.
The thing is, Ben, that I know for a fact that we enjoy a lot of the same games, and we bond over our games, and all four of us will. We play similar things, and I'm not saying I'm going to go out and be one of these pro for this game. I'm just saying that it has its right to exist, and I respect your opinion for thinking it might not, but or that it shouldn't have this context or whatever. But it doesn't mean we're going to go off and start playing it and loving it or whatever. It's got not to be a problem. Just fucking buy Bayonetta 2, everyone.
Agreed.
Yeah, get one that objectifies women.
Well, it's a really interesting point though, and like we've all had a lot to say about it. I'd be really interested in any of our listeners' thoughts on this. Like, if you go and watch the Hatred trailer, and then like come back. And you can leave comments on Podbean as well. Let us know what you thought of the trailer and what you think about it. Because maybe you could help us vocalize our opinions better, right? I want to know whether you think it should exist. I mean, personally, I don't think it should exist, but it has the right to exist, right? So come back to us on that one. Man, does anyone want... Carry on, Jenny.
I was going to say, it's the age-old... thing of free will, maybe you don't agree with it, but I'll defend your right to say it. So it's that sort of thing.
Totally, yeah.
I don't agree with what you've created, but the fact I would never restrict you from, with the ability, the opportunity to make it.
Yeah.
Cut in the bit where he gets it right later.
Yeah. We'll get there in the end.
Did you guys want to add anything else to that before we move on?
I think we had a good old discussion.
Okay, cool.
Hang on, Jay.
Yeah.
So off topic and totally random. I was told yesterday by a source that Vinnie Jones will be joining Arrow.
Can we talk about that briefly?
Why
Is
not,
that
man?
a thing?
I don't have all the information. I'm not a massive DC fan. All I know is that there's a gangster called Bricks, and he's coming in. He is going to play Bricks in season 3 of Arrow.
Right.
So it is happening. Vinnie Jones is in. I'm the Juggernaut bitch is in DC now. So
Does that make you want to watch season 3 even more, Jenny?
No. I was terrified when I first heard it. I don't know. I suppose Arrow is a bit cheesy at times, so it's sort of... I don't know. Is this a bit too much?
I can't think now off the top of my head, but I swear I'd seen him in something in recent years, and he was actually all right. But I could have just been dreaming. It could be a lie.
Attack advert, wasn't it?
There was a heart attack advert. Don't remember that.
It wasn't a heart attack advert, I think.
It didn't. No, not heart attack. It was the staying alive thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Feel free to search that one up if you want to laugh as well. God,
I know one. I know. Like, we've run out of time. We're running out of time. We're going to have to cover some other bits briefly, aren't we?
do it.
It's not in the list.
News.
All right, let's not talk about Ubisoft locking Assassin's Creed Unity at 900p then, because I'll be honest with you, if you can tell the difference between 900p and 1080p like consistently, then I'll give you a medal, and then I'll laugh at you for lying. Master Chief's... No, you
Carry
can't.
on.
Piss
The
off.
best thing about that was the
I
parody
sit very
sound.
close. I sit very close to a very large monitor. I can tell the difference. Carry on.
And that's just for the porn.
He plays-
Right.
He does play Magic, so that wouldn't surprise me.
Fuck you.
Master Chief's role in Halo 5 had come up in big heated topic recently. They were saying that Master Chief wasn't going to be the lead, and now they're saying, no, he definitely is the lead. He
It
she
was-
is the lead. So do you still need Master Chief to make Halo 5?
Fuck yes, Master Chief is Halo, man.
So
This came about when the lead voice actor for a new main character.
in the
who's-
Nightfall TV series, right?
Yeah, so he plays a big part in that. He came out saying that he's going to be the main character of the next game, but like people misinterpreted it that like he was going to be the main character. Like, so you're going to play him, and then Master Chief's going to be a secondary character. Whereas it's going to work very similar to the way Halo 3 worked, where Master Chief will still be the main character, but you also have sections where you play as a secondary character who will also be integral to the plot. So Master Chief's going nowhere. They're just adding another main character to the franchise.
Played by Carlos Santana. Right. But it got me wondering, is Master Chief still important to Halo? And I guess, in a way, it's more important than the name Halo.
Yeah, Master Chief is Halo, man.
You're the big Halo fan, so I'll take your word for it. Because none of us will be buying the new one. I'd imagine that's when you buy your Xbox One, right? When the new Halo.
When the new Halo comes out, I won't be picking up an Xbox One for Master Chief Collection because it's all games that I've played before. But yeah, when Halo 5 Guardians drops, then that is like the time where I have to get my Xbox One, basically.
It's the time when you do things.
Yeah.
It's when you do it. Who's ready for another James Bond movie? We had a jolly good time for the last one, didn't we?
We did.
I've always got time for a James Bond film. Yeah.
Yeah, it was time.
It helped that Skyfall was a fantastic movie, though.
It's definitely the third best James Bond. Anyway, that's another discussion. This one though is just another whole podcast. Yeah. This one in particular is about Dave Bautista being cast as a henchman for Bond 24.
I see it.
So-
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Does that work?
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about him, man. Obviously, Batista was really, really good as Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, fucking awesome. But he was also really funny as Drax.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he can be better. Like, I genuinely really liked his performance. I feel that he could be better than just a standard henchman. So, I'm hoping...
I think
There's
I
a
think
premise.
he'll be cast with higher respect than that.
Yeah.
This is what I'm hoping.
What they did is when they were advertising the role, they basically said they want someone as iconic or to become as iconic as, say, Jaws or Oddjob. So I don't think it's going to be that sort of throwaway henchman that...
He might become a long stay in the series.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes is directing the next two, and they are being treated as like a two-parter.
Well,
right.
there was talks that he's going to have, like, at least a few confrontations with Bond, right? So...
Yeah.
It's not like Daniel Craig's just going to knock him the fuck out or whatever.
Yeah.
So
No, it seems like he could be a big part. And you talk about the comedy levels as well. And I can't think of his name now from Skyfall. Is it like Silver or something? The lead villain in that? Off the top of my head now, it
Yes.
escapes me. Even the actor's name has just gone, and that's really disappointing because he's a great actor. But no, anyway, he was very funny. I thought he was one of the funniest characters in a James Bond film in memory.
yeah, and
And
like
it was intentional, and it really worked. And it was quite sadistic at times.
If anything, the villain is just as important. Oh, well, to a degree anyway, he's just as important as James Bond, because if you have a shit villain, then you're going to have a shit film. Because Bond will always be Bond. But you need someone who's got like believable, who's going to be like sort of cunning or with a lot of strength. Yeah. No, I'd say I'm optimistic.
Needs to be the other half to him.
Yes.
Somebody to complete him.
was it Javier Bardem?
That's the one!
Yes, I
Got
was like,
IMDb
my
up.
brain, man.
Got
no,
IMDb
no,
up
there
at the
is.
same time.
What?
I got quite close, but yeah.
I own that big sexy Bond box set of Blu-rays with every single one of them in it.
Let me steal that off you.
It is the business. It's one of the greatest things I've got in my collection here.
Let's do a Bond
Definitely.
marathon.
Yes.
Bondathon.
Oh, Bond. Okay, yeah.
Bondage marathon. Last and maybe least, I don't know if you guys care about it anymore. Is Naruto important anymore?
No.
I've been done with Naruto ever since the 4th Shinobi War arc started. And
Is that as a manga you've been done with it?
yep,
Because I sure as hell gave up on the show a long time ago. But it's coming to an end anyway, so they've
Hooray!
announced that November is the end of Naruto. And
It needs to end.
nope, no.
I didn't even know what
No.
Naruto was.
What?
All right, so the manga is finishing. That's confirmed, right?
Yes.
Kishimoto has said that Naruto as a manga is finishing.
Yes.
They've been very clear, though, that there is a new project starting afterwards. Now, whether that is going to be sort of an anime-only Naruto GT, kind of like Dragon Ball
Oh,
GT,
Dragon Ball, yeah.
or whether it's going to be a spin-off manga produced by Kishimoto, they haven't confirmed. It's all going to be announced when it happens. But it's shown in Jump, right? That
Yeah, that's the
Naruto
one,
is serialized in. They've said that something to do with Naruto is happening after the Naruto manga ends. So I feel like there's going to be continuations, which sucks because I've actually been reading the last few chapters because I want to see how it ends.
Yeah.
And we're currently in the middle of a fight. Of course, we're in the middle of a fight between Naruto and Sasuke right at the end of the manga. And it looks like fucking Dragon Ball Z at the moment. Do you remember when Naruto, when you first start reading it or when you first start watching the show, there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of martial arts going on. They're literally just fucking throwing energy blasts at each other and stuff.
Really?
At the moment, yeah,
Beam cannons.
it looks dreadful, man. What happened to Naruto?
It did. It just went downhill.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Totally.
I mean, I'm seeing it all out of context. I don't know how they got these powers. Like I said, I stopped caring when everyone came back to life.
Well, they went in a time chamber after they got the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have happened.
They probably did get Dragon Balls and come back to life.
They got Dragon Balls deep.
Whether
Oh,
Naruto was going downhill for a long time. I'm glad it's ending. I just hope if there is some sort of spin-off, it's more like his original content.
It's a shame though, because I do have a soft spot for Naruto.
Yeah,
this has been going for so long, and some episodes were actually really good. In the Hidden Mist stuff that's way back, but some that's really good, and some of it isn't terrible, but it got bogged down by a lot of fillers.
Gaara's probably one of my favourite creations.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's a brilliant character for any show, for any manga, whatever. I think he's just brilliant creation. Be a shame. Maybe there's a Gaara spin-off.
That'd be cool. There was a fucking Rock Lee spin-off, wasn't there?
There was on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
But that's everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always
So
sad.
long.
It's always sad when a podcast comes to an end, man. Especially one as nice and rant-filled as this one, man.
Yeah, we have some good hot discussion.
It's been a while since we've had a nice heated debate like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good, man.
I've never disagreed with Johnny so hard, I think.
That's a lie.
That's true.
Oh wow, we'll have to do it all again next week. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you're on YouTube, leave us a like and a comment because we love that shit. If you're on Podbean, thank you for checking out our podcast on Podbean. It's going to be here weekly.
Sorry.
Come
Is our
back.
new tagline going to be like, come flick a bean with us? Or
Come
something
flick.
Oh
on
god.
Podbean?
Oh man, you can find us on Facebook with GSC Games. You can like us on Twitter like us on Facebook rather. Find us on Twitter, whatever. GSC_games on Twitter. Our individual Twitter tags will be down in the description of the video if you're on YouTube and probably on our homepage on Podbean. And we'll see everyone next week.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
I'll also find a better way of doing that outro next week. Bye.
Smooth.